The drama surrounding the Cleveland Browns on that disastrous afternoon felt like a slow, painful unraveling of everything the fanbase had dared to hope for. Season after season, Browns fans have become experts at swallowing disappointment, but this wasn't just another routine letdown. This felt calculated, like the air slowly being sucked out of the stadium from the moment Shadur Sanders jogged onto the field for his first home start. It felt like watching potential being smothered in real time, like witnessing a battle between a rising star quarterback and a head coach determined to bury his own future. The scoreboard told one story, but the performance, the decisions, the philosophy behind every snap told a far more damning one. It wasn't a loss. It was an indictment of a system built to fail. Shadur Sanders came into Cleveland carrying the weight of expectations that few rookie quarterbacks ever experience. He wasn't just another young arm thrown into the fire. He entered the league with poise honed through years under the spotlight, with accuracy that scouts praised, and with a football IQ far beyond his age. He was the kind of quarterback franchises dream of, the type who energizes a fanbase starving for relevance. Yet from the opening drive, it was clear he was never going to be given a fair chance. Kevin Stefanski, armed with an offense that should have been molded around Sanders' strengths, instead dragged Cleveland back into the stone age of football. Every play felt like a step backward, every series a clinic in how to suffocate an offense before it could even breathe. The numbers tell their own story, but the context behind them transforms those numbers into something much more disturbing. 16 completions on 25 attempts for 149 yards and a touchdown sounds manageable on paper. It sounds like a rookie finding his footing. But 25 pass attempts in a league driven by high-octane aerial attacks is a glaring red flag. Sanders didn't struggle because he was overwhelmed. He struggled because he wasn't allowed to do anything else. He watched handoff after handoff slammed into a San Francisco defensive wall. 32 rushing attempts into one of the most unforgiving front sevens in football, as if brute stubbornness would magically turn into innovation. Sanders became a spectator in his own debut, reduced to checking down and praying for third and long miracles while the playbook handcuffed him from start to finish. Across the field, Brock Purdy put up a nearly identical stat line, yet the difference was night and day. Purdy was given trust. He was given agency. His coaches placed the game in his hands, understanding that you win in today's NFL by empowering your quarterback, not sheltering him. Meanwhile, Sanders stood trapped in a prehistoric offense, watching his potential evaporate behind predictable runs and the kind of gadget plays that fool absolutely no one at this level. Every wildcat snap, every unnecessary jet sweep felt like a slap in the face to a quarterback capable of doing so much more. It was as if Stefanski didn't want Sanders to showcase his abilities. And for fans watching, the frustration was palpable. How do you bring in a quarterback with this much talent, only to reduce him to a placeholder? When the Browns finished the day with just 115 passing yards, it didn't feel like an offensive failure. It felt like a philosophical collapse. It felt like the team was being dragged backward by a coach terrified of trusting his own quarterback. Sanders didn't lose this game. He survived it. He withstood sacks that came not from poor protection alone, but from a predictable offensive script that put him in impossible situations. Every third down became a feeding frenzy for the 49ers defense. Everyone in the stadium knew what was coming, and San Francisco crushed those predictable moments with ease. That kind of pressure isn't development. It's sabotage. And it's not as if Browns fans are oblivious. They've seen greatness squandered. They've endured bad coaching, bad management, and bad football philosophies for years. But watching a generational talent like Sanders being wasted hit differently. Social media erupted with outrage, with fans begging for anyone in the organization to wake up and see what was happening. How do you invest in a quarterback who can elevate your franchise and then refuse to use him as the centerpiece? How do you watch your offense stall week after week, and still cling to a system that hasn't worked since before many of the current players were born? Even more alarming is the silence coming from ownership. Jimmy Haslam has never been shy about firing coaches or reshaping the franchise when the pressure rises. But now, with a head coach whose conservative approach is dragging the team into irrelevance, Haslam seems unmoved. It's a baffling contradiction. How can a franchise so desperate for success sit idly by while Stefanski's outdated philosophy limits their brightest asset? It's as if the organization is stuck between acknowledging the obvious and clinging to a coach whose best days are long behind him. And in the middle of all this stands Sanders, a quarterback capable of transforming the Browns' identity, forced to run an offense designed for an era that no longer exists. If Cleveland truly wants to evolve, if they want to compete against teams with dynamic offenses led by innovative coaches, they must embrace the modern NFL. They must put the ball in the hands of the quarterback they invested in. They must let Sanders throw, lead, grow, and command this offense. Because the alternative is grim. The alternative is watching him stagnate. The alternative is watching his potential bloom somewhere else, under a coaching staff that understands what they have and how to use it. That is the nightmare scenario for Cleveland. And unless something changes, that nightmare inches closer with every game called from Stefanski's outdated script. The Browns fan base deserves better than this pattern of mismanagement. They deserve excitement, creativity, and a future built around a quarterback with real star potential. Sanders deserves better than being treated like a caretaker quarterback when he has the tools to be a franchise savior. And the organization deserves better than the mediocrity they continue to accept. The season may not be salvageable, but the future still can be, if the right decisions are finally made. What do you think, Browns fans? Has the time come for the organization to cut ties with Kevin Stefanski and bring in a coach willing to unleash Shadur Sanders? Should Cleveland finally embrace the kind of offense that can compete at the highest level? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let your voice be heard. If you're passionate about holding this team accountable, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into what's really happening behind the scenes in Cleveland. Your support keeps these conversations alive, and together we can push for the change this franchise desperately needs.